We walked through the history of third-party spoilers and their impact on presidential elections. Joining us now with more is the Green Party nominee and candidate for president, Dr. Jill Stein. Welcome.
Good to be with you.
Dr. Stein, you didn't run for president in 2020, but in 2016, you received nearly 1.5 million votes. That was enough votes in the swing states of Michigan, Wisconsin, and Pennsylvania to exceed Trump's margins of victory there. And now the Harris campaign is running an attack ad against you. What will you say to those Democrats who will blame you again if you help pave the way for another Trump presidency?
So every time we hear this smear, what we don't hear is that the vast majority of those voters, we know from interviews, we know also from exit polls, the vast majority would not have come out to vote. So those actually were not stolen from another candidate. Those were people who were given a reason to come out and vote, which the American people desperately need. The Americans are clamoring. An overwhelming majority want other choices and other voices because they're tired of being thrown under the bus by both parties.
You laid out a number of your issues. What is your pitch to voters on why they should vote for you rather than Kamala Harris or Donald Trump?
So I think voters should vote for themselves. I think voters need to put themselves first. And voters are being told over and over again by both parties, actually, that you don't own your vote, that politicians own your vote. And you're supposed to take marching orders from the political elites who've been throwing you under the bus. Actually, politicians don't own your vote. They have to earn your vote.
You've been a harsh critic of the Biden-Harris administration, but they say they've lobbied continuously with Israel to make peace, claiming a second Trump term also, according to the Harris campaign, would truly give Israel free rein to do as they wish against terrorists and against citizens in Gaza. Not to mention the fact that Donald Trump was the architect of the Muslim ban, the Muslim immigration ban. So what do you say to the Harris campaign folks who are spreading this message?
So, the ones who are really in the target here obviously are the Muslims. And look at what they're saying. I mean, overwhelmingly, they support our campaign. Overwhelmingly, they want to deny Harris and the Biden-Harris administration the reward of continuing. They are diametrically opposed to Harris continuing the genocide. And for all the talk that they give, all the pretty talk, they could stop this in a heartbeat with a simple phone call, as Ronald Reagan did, simply by calling the leader of Israel back in 1982 when Israel had followed the PLO, which was the Hamas of its day, into Lebanon and were massacring thousands of people.
Dr. Stein, your VP running mate, Butch Ware, who is a Black and Islamic Studies professor at UC Santa Barbara, has said that Hamas's attack on Israel was, quote, the modern equivalent of Nat Turner's 1831 slave rebellion. Would you agree?
So I know there are many people who say that. I look at this differently. I look at this essentially as a matter of ethnic cleansing that's been taking place since before the founding of the State of Israel. And the massacres actually also started, the massacres of the people of Palestine. This is not a question of religion. This is an issue of Zionism. I think it's a mistake to distract from the moral imperative of the moment, which is genocide.
National security officials believe that Vladimir Putin wants the former President Trump to win, and Democrats suggest that you at times have fallen victim to Russian flattery, like when you sat with Putin in 2015 at that event celebrating RT, which is a state-controlled Russian TV network that spreads Russian propaganda. Do you at least see why Putin might support you because your base is mainly disgruntled Democrats?
So let's be clear, that press conference, that meeting, which I spoke at, and my speech is actually on record on the web until the RT website was taken down. This was an address to the likes of the BBC, the Canadian Broadcasting, reporters and press from around the world were there to hear my message, which was essentially for a peace offensive in the Middle East. And I actually took Putin to task for bombing Syria, which he had just begun at that time. So this is absolutely false. My remarks are on record for criticizing Putin and Russia for advancing a peace offensive in the Middle East, a nuclear weapons ban, and a global Green New Deal.
Green Party nominee and 2024 candidate for president, Dr. Jill Stein. Thank you.
Thank you so much.